Actually, a little more to the right.
Ted, a little bit this way.
Further forward. Okay.
That's good.
As best I can determine.
Make a waypoint.
Ted marks the GPS coordinates of where Colonel Halt said the UFO landed.
That's good.
Colonel Halt points out the location of the lighthouse.
Right, there's a notch in the far tree line over there. It was about 30 degrees from where I saw the object to where the lighthouse was. That was my recollection.
Okay, so if Jeff is the light source, is that good?
Yeah.
Take a waypoint. Okay, Ted, come on back here. We'll plug the GPS into the camera and we'll shoot from this waypoint.
Was the object witnessed by more than 80 Air Force servicemen and the deputy base commander merely a beam of light, a UFO, or something else entirely?
Is it possible that the beam from that light was what the troops in the forest saw?
Science may hold the answer. And a new expert witness, never before interviewed, speaks out.
The lighthouse is actually...
Experiment's producer John Tyndall has created a model of Rendlesham Forest to determine what the military officers witnessed. Was it a beam of light or a UFO?
Well, remember we were in Rendlesham Forest in England. We took GPS coordinates and photographs as well. This was the view from where Colonel Halt was standing that night. And with that and the photographs, we've been able to recreate to scale exactly what was happening there.
And what we want to do is prove and or disprove two different points. The first point is, can a lighthouse 6 miles in the distance have any sort of effect on the face of that farmhouse? Second, can the UFO have an effect on the face of that building? What the colonel was saying was he was actually seeing reflections coming back from the windows. So in that miniature we put some little dental mirrors in there actually to aid us in doing the reflection.
Never before has somebody actually geometrically set up the angles of sight between the lighthouse, the farmhouse, the clearing, and the forest. So where was Colonel Halt's line of sight now?
Right over here.
This is the position where he was standing, and we've set this up as a line of sight so we can get the exact angle to the lighthouse or the windows in the house.
I see it.
Jeff, why don't you bring the magic UFO wand in, and we're going to approximate it in that area.
That position where Jeff has that light is where Colonel Halt said this UFO had landed.
I can see the reflection in the window from his point of view, and what's interesting is that the lighthouse is a separate light entirely, not reflecting in the window. Because there's no reflection from the lighthouse to into this line of sight. You see the light directly, but you don't see any reflection.
But I don't understand how the lighthouse even plays into this.
That's a very good point.
The lighthouse is almost over the horizon, and it's just a very strange idea that experienced servicemen would get excited about a lighthouse in the distance.
There it is again. There's a strange red light. There's definitely something there, some kind of phenomenon.
The second experiment was, where must there have been a light source in order to create a reflection off the windows of the house and into Colonel Halt's eyes?
I'm seeing a reflection on the window from the object that's supposed to be the UFO.
So a bright light reflecting off the UFO from that position would definitely make the house look that it was on fire, as if it were on fire.
Right, that's what it is.
Behind the window.
It's sort of like a pupil of an eye looking at you, winking. And the flash is so bright it almost burns your eye.
I think it's safe to say that if there was a very bright light in the position that Colonel Halt observed there to be, the angle of reflection off of the house is just about optimal off those windows to get the brightest reflection back to the observation.
I think basically we've just closed the door about Orford Ness being the source of the light that Charles Halt saw that night, whether it's a UFO, whether it's not a UFO, who knows what it is.
One person may be able to provide a definitive answer to this UFO debate. Keith Seaman is the keeper of the Orford Nest Lighthouse.
Is it possible that the beam from that light was what the troops in the forest saw that night on December 26, 1980?
If we look at the lighthouse behind us, we can see that it's got a big piece of metal behind it, pointing in the direction of Rendlesham, which is over there. Now, albeit that the intensity of the light was greater then, in 1980, than it is now, the light still wouldn't have shone actually directly through the trees. All you would see on a clear night is the flash of the lighthouse every 5 seconds going across the sky.
So you're saying that that cover, that piece of metal that is blocking the light, was there in 1980?
It's always been there.
So there's never been a time in the history of this lighthouse that the light was actually shining towards Rendlesham Forest?
No.
I think we finally got a whole new piece to the puzzle. According to Keith Seaman, the lighthouse attendant, there's a big piece of metal on the backside of the lighthouse that doesn't shine towards land, it shines out to sea. So this is like a huge, exciting, new piece of information that no one's really ever looked into. And thankfully, we actually came here to get the information, to find out for ourselves.
We interviewed Charles Holt and confirmed the entire story that Colonel Holt said. We actually went to the tower, brand new spot, where a witness whom we discovered saw the entire event play out from the vantage point of the tower. You could see everything. We've interviewed other witnesses, and every single story was credible.
All these eyewitnesses have stood by their testimony for over 30 years now.
And we've completely disproven this whole lighthouse theory.
Yeah, but guys, it's not like just by disproving the lighthouse theory, we've proven the existence of UFOs. I mean, there still could be other explanations. You know, we know there are 2 top secret Air Force bases in the area. It could have been some sort of new top secret military aircraft or a drone or something. I just don't want to jump to the conclusion that it has to have been extraterrestrial UFO vehicles.
True. I mean, what if it were some kind of drone, but maybe it wasn't ours? You know, that would explain all the disinformation around the topic, right? The government's denial that anything of significance happened there.
And I would give you that without hesitation, except for one thing in my mind that still sticks. Drones, at least the ones that I know, don't float out into a field and then split into 5 separate lights and go in 5 separate directions. That bothers me.
Well, it could still be some kind of top secret drone, right?
Look, we've really done a great job in this case. I think we've really closed it up. We've sent the skeptics running. As you say, we've shown it could not possibly have been their favorite theories. So you know what? We've debunked the debunkers.
The Rendlesham Forest case differs from other reported sightings because of the number of witnesses,
over 80 witnessed the takeoff,
the level of their expertise,
The deputy base commander is telling me that he had a UFO event,
and the physical evidence left behind.
We discovered radiation.
But like most UFO cases, there may be an earthly explanation for the events of those 2 nights in 1980. Did the troops really encounter a UFO? Is it possible that nuclear bases are being monitored by something not of this world?
I'm firmly convinced that what we saw was something out of the ordinary.
The answer to why a UFO presence might persist here and elsewhere is as mysterious as the UFOs themselves.
There's something very